The market hit 7,600. I was calling it all month. It waited till August 3rd. Can you believe that? One day off. We're going to talk about why the market's going up and how it's going to affect your portfolio. So stay tuned. Listen up. Hi, I'm Adam Anderson, owner and founder of WealthGuard Advisors.
Hello, I'm Blake Anderson, certified financial planner. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. I'm super excited. I was calling for 7,600 on the S&P 500. We are a hair's breadth away from an all-time high. Look at this right here. It closed at 7,650 cents. Its all-time high was 76.20. We're within a hair's breadth of its high. All we needed was that little bump in the last 3 days. Boom, 3% brings it back. That's quite a run for last week. So, Blake, you want to digest why are we rallying all of a sudden? Last week we're all kind of in a bad mood about the marketplace, and now look at this.
Yeah, it was quite the turnaround last week, and it was largely a response to those tech earnings we were talking about. We saw a huge move in Microsoft. We just saw today big moves in Amazon, in Meta, in Google. All these major growth names that we've been seeing have been beat up over the last few weeks. Saw major turnarounds last week and then today as well, for a very quick turnaround here. And I know last week we talked about, talking about diversification, but don't give up on these names yet. This is why we don't give up on them yet, because we see these rapid turnarounds happen in the market.
Yeah, it has been a theme of kind of like we get kind of beat down for a while, and all of a sudden, boom, in short order, it's up again. Let's look at Amazon real quick for the fun of it, because this is a really interesting chart. Coming off their earnings last week, they came in, they expected $1.82, and they came in at $5.75. So to put that in perspective, that's like you're saying, hey, I'm going to make $1,826 this month, and you made $5,057.50 instead. That's a big day. Look at this. Boom. 25% jump. Unbelievable. And that it gapped up and then gapped up again is really great. So just as an example there. But we talked about the S&P 500 growth last week, which was kind of lagging recently, and then that's being driven by this Amazon, Microsoft, some of these other tech names that Blake was just talking about. And then so that's up 2.15% today. And then we have the more dividend value oriented companies on there, and it's up 0.67. But we talked about how much more steady this one is. So we talk about being diversified is so important, and also staying in the game, like Blake was just talking about. You own an asset, you own pieces of a company, and just let it go through those ups and downs. And we look at it on an annual basis and see how it's performing. And we watch for those things that maybe make it a bad stock. Something's broken about the stock. The CEO is getting marched out in handcuffs. That's a good reason to sell. Because of some misinterpretation of their earnings, that is not a good reason to sell.
Yeah. So what do we do now? Looking forward to this week. We're still in the middle of earnings season. Lots of companies reporting. Names that you might not be as familiar with, because we just passed the major tech names. There's still a few in there. AMD. A couple things I'm looking at this week. SpaceX has their first earnings
Tomorrow will be
since
the
their
first
IPO.
earnings.
And this is something that a lot of people are looking for, because with this earnings, we see the first tranche of shares being opened up. There were restrictions after an IPO on how many shares insiders could sell. And so this will be the first big tranche of shares becoming available in the market. And so we'll have to see what all that added liquidity does to the company. So maybe this will be the impetus to push the next leg lower. I know it's been lagging, which is actually fairly common for IPOs to lag, but it might also signal time to turn around and get started. Uh, I I don't know with SpaceX, but it'll be interesting either way, I'm sure.
It's so amazing because here's their IPO, and it's just rocketed out. A lot of hype around it, of course, that ran it up. We were very cautious about this. We actually use a diversified private fund that has private shares in it. That way you have a number of different things, but still exposure to SpaceX. And then it came back down, kind of settled back into their IPO level again, and then it's just kind of, cascaded down, over the last month or so, and it's kind of flattening out here. We got a nice little bump today, earnings tomorrow. Um, there's still the hype that we saw back when it came out at around the almost $200 or 150 range. I still think those stories are still strong. Like, this is a company that is, the space race is real. They're bringing out products that are changing people's lives. I know that SpaceX, not SpaceX, but Starlink has changed my life because I live in a rural area and I'm able to get fast internet right now. Really cool. And so it has changed my life for sure, what he's done there. So, uh, if you were a speculator, I wouldn't be opposed to actually adding to this or buying this position at this point, but just realize it may be in it for a while before you start seeing it go up, but it definitely looks like it might be in a base. One of those kind of a bellwether is just McDonald's. I'm interested in see what they do tomorrow. It's been not a very good place to be. Eli Lilly, a lot of our clients own Eli Lilly. Really looking forward to see what they have to say on Wednesday. That's exciting. Um, I also watch Albemarle, which is a rare earths metal company, but Blake and I have also bought MP, Mountain Pass, which is a rare earth metal. And right now with China, they are still having this, China's hoarding and not letting it loose, and we don't have as much as we need, which is surprising that the chart has been down as much as it has. They still have people that are in it because they have big gains in it. So we're holding on. So we got Mountain Pass here, and it is peaked out here around 76, and got down to 37. So that is quite the drop. And we're coming up in the earnings that we just talked about. So maybe a falling knife, as we like to say. Maybe not. So, if you're a long-term holder. So here we are, had that huge bump up. Luckily, I was buying it back in this range. Now we've come back down. Um, Not seeing any clear support level except maybe right this little knob there and there. So that could be potential, but just the fact that it's dropped so precipitously, 40%, um, and still a great company in a area where a high demand um, product, rare earths metals. So something to think about.
Yeah, with MP, this was, the hot stock of the summer last year, when we saw Trump came out talking about them and talking about domestic rare earth metal production, and it did, it was up huge at that time, and since then it's sort of petered out, and I think that's healthy as all the hype around there sort of settled out. And, it is still more of an exploratory type of mining operation. They're still very nascent in building out the capacity for these rare earth metals. And so there is a lot of risks involved with it. But I think now that we're back a little closer to, pre US investment news, we're getting a little closer to those values. I like the company again. Um, I'll probably wait until earnings and make sure there isn't any surprises there. Uh, But I think there's potential here. But again, more on the speculative side.
Yeah, so that's coming out on the 6th. So we'll be watching for that. Some other big names are coming out this week. So we're almost, there's MP right here on Thursday. So we're almost halfway through the earnings season, and a lot of big names this week. A lot of good information will be coming out. Be interested to see what happens. But the most exciting thing that's happened today, because we're right after the market close, is the S&P crossing the 7,600 in the spirit of 76. We did it. It would have been great if it did it in July, but yeah, beggars can't be choosers. August is still good. We're still in our 250th anniversary of our nation. So that's why I like the 76 number. Some of those kids like the 67 number, but I like the 76, and that's where I'm at. Hey, I got myself some new X-ray specs that don't glow as much, the reflections, so now you can see my eyes better. Anything else, Scott Blake?
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Reminder here, WealthGuard Advisors, we are a registered investment advisory firm registered directly with the Securities Exchange Commission. We're happy to meet with you to discuss your financial needs and goals and see if we could be of service to helping you achieve them. If you have any questions for us, we'd love to meet with you. We are, in fact, having a retirement readiness class in Dublin on Thursday this week, 6:30 there in the community center. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out. We could get you some information on it, and we'd love to see you there. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for being with us. We love you. We'll see you next week.